right, y'all. So now it is that your girl's recording. Let's go ahead and let's get into this next video, shall we? Now, Patrick CC, shout outs to you. Let's talk about Playboi Carti. ... Oh no! Oh man. Well, so without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Half of you watching absolutely hate Playboi Carti and can't understand why he deserves any of the hype surrounding his new album, I Am Music.
I mean, I don't hate him. Do I feel like he gaslight his fans? Yes. Yes.
Other half of you watching love him and are going to verbally attack me in the comments for even the slightest bit of criticism. I've seen so much pushback on anyone criticizing this album, with the majority of them saying, chill out, this album isn't for you, Unk. Which, if you're gonna call me Unk, you better put 2 C's on the end of it. Now, to be fair, if you came into this album trying to dissect the lyrics and look for a deeper meaning or theme or a cohesive album experience, there is something wrong with you. Obviously, Carti is just making music to chill and vibe to. Now, this video is not your typical nerdy music review, but rather analyzing I Am Music and Carti's impact and influence on hip-hop as a whole. Because whether you like him or not, you cannot argue against this man being one of the biggest artists in hip-hop right now. I feel the same way about I Am Music as I did initially after listening to Whole Lotta Red. It's bloated, it's repetitive, and I will likely only listen to a handful of songs again and in the foreseeable future. As a body of work, Whole Lotta Red was way more impressive. The rage sound, the vampire theme, and the short punchy tracks that were clearly designed for an intense concert experience made for a really solid album.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I think the I Am Music album, like, there are some songs that are cool. Like, I'm a-okay with it, you know what I mean? And I'm not that big of a Playboi Carti fan, you know what I mean? But A Whole Lotta Red is probably, like, if you had to compare the two, A Whole Lotta Red is definitely a better album. It's definitely a better album. I had to call it for what it is. But I still like some of the songs with I Am Music. So I can't necessarily say it is like, oh my God, it was trash. I know Mike said that earlier. I'm not gonna say the album was trash. I don't feel like it's trash. I've heard other albums that I'm just like, I didn't like that. But overall, I fuck with this.
However, it took time for me and most other people to recognize the value of this album. Everyone said that Whole Lotta Red was going to age well and it's going to take time to understand Carti's vision, and they were completely right. Whole Lotta Red literally changed the underground rap scene forever. There is an extremely strong argument to be made that this album single-handedly opened up a lane for an entire new genre of rap, and that dozens of artists and producers would not even have a career if it wasn't for this album. So you can imagine for Carti, that is a ton of pressure to live up to. It's impossible to know the long-lasting impact that I Am Music will have on his fans and hip-hop as a whole, but I do feel pretty confident in saying that it won't be nearly as influential as Whole Lotta Red. And that's because I Am Music sounds like a standard Future album. The track Jumpin' literally sounds one-to-one like Future. I had to pause the track and check the credits to make sure that it wasn't him. And I find that most of the songs that I enjoy on this project just sound like Future. And you guys know that I love Future, so this isn't a diss.
Yeah,
it's actually a compliment to my glorious king, Nevadius. I don't know what his last name is. L fan. But the beats, the cadence, the flow, the song structure of I Am Music, none of it really sounds like anything new in the grand scheme of hip-hop, which is fine. Not every album needs to be this dramatic cultural shifting moment. The project is going to be a solid one to stream in the background, put on in the car, and play at parties.
Which I've already was streaming the music while, I was already playing the music while I was streaming. But here's the point. It's not like something like this. I wasn't expecting Carti to have like a whole different level. It wasn't gonna give the Whole Lotta Red effect. It wasn't gonna do that. Like, that's his own entity. However, like I said, I don't think the album is bad. Like, I really don't. But I wasn't expecting much as it is anyway. I have to say shout outs to Kai and also Dante, like, and anybody else that is that stayed up like late, like niggas said 3 a.m. or I think like 12 midnight Pacific time, and that was 3 a.m. for me here. So I was kind of up looking and seeing, and then I had as either Kai's or Dante stream because they was in a call together at one point. I was in and out of sleep, and that's when I seen that they was finally reacting to it at like 8 in the morning. It was 8 in the morning my time. So like, oof, to drop the music, and of course it's not Carti's fault. It was a lot of stuff with like getting the samples cleared and making sure that everything was good to go. All that, yeah. There was quite a few people that was up, but I was like, yeah, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I was exhausted. I had a midterm. It is that I had to do the same day, so I'm like, look, I'm gonna just get to this album when I can react to it and then put it up on the second channel. But nonetheless, do I feel like it was worth staying up all night for? No. But did the album, it didn't disappoint me. It didn't disappoint me. So I'll say that. You know what I mean? I will never stay awake for an album. I'm going to fuck to sleep. Hey, at least for Playboi Carti. If it was another artist, then yes, I would. But for this again, I'm sorry, Carti. Like, hey, listen, your music's nice, but I'm not staying up towards the ass crack of dawn for this for another album to be released.
But with that being said, it does feel a little underwhelming considering the pretentious title of the album, I Am Music. I already know there's going to be one of you in the comments like, technically the album is called Music, not I Am Music. Dude, for years he promoted this album as the title being I Am Music, and the album cover says I Am Music. Clearly, he was trying to send a specific message. Shut your mouth. On one hand, this title would make us think that he would develop this extremely innovative approach to the genre and establish himself as the artist who will single-handedly shift the culture, only to maybe fall short of that. On the other hand, the name could be perceived as the ultimate flex of saying, I don't even have to try that hard. I can put out 30 random songs from my archive and still have more hype and more sales than your favorite rapper. Either way, I think the album name is kind of ridiculous and punches under its weight, which is one of the many reasons why tons of fans think that the album doesn't actually deserve the hype. And the word deserve is interesting. Technically, from a musical standpoint, I don't think this album was worth waiting over 4 years for. Then again, I love how much hype it has. On the night of the release, I stayed up on Twitch, and so did hundreds of thousands of fans. It was exciting. So you have Dante with his 11,000 viewers. You have Playboi Max with 78,000 viewers waiting. Academics right there with 38,000 viewers.
We don't claim that, nigga. Proceed.
You have Azias and Bilu on YouTube right now with like 20 or 30K. You have Kai Cenat with 140K viewers, bro. What are you doing? Now, I was pretty upset when he didn't drop at midnight.
A story where he was on FaceTime with Deezer?
And then I was extremely fed up when he didn't drop after delaying the album another 3 hours. Ain't no way he just honey dicked us. Bro, I swear, if he postpones it, I'm not listening. Future would never do this to us. He would drop an album exactly on time, right when we expected it, and then he would drop another album like 3 months later. It's not on other platforms, not on Apple, not on YouTube. Who thinks that this is aura farming or this is cool, bro? This shit is lame. After the second delay, I decided to go to sleep, and he didn't end up dropping the album for another 6 hours, so I definitely made the right decision. Regardless, the hype was an amazing feeling. There are like 4 albums that come to mind in the past 5 years that have had this much hype, with Whole Lotta Red being one of them. Also Donda and CLB and maybe Utopia.
I am a little bit upset that I didn't. I was just streaming around this time of when Donda and Certified Lover Boy was when it first had dropped. I wish it is that I did. I wish I did do the reaction to that. Now I will say, although I am not the biggest fan of Drake, especially with his antics, Certified Lover Boy definitely had some bangers. And Damn, I can't. Oh man, especially with the recent events with Kanye West. Well, Donda was cool. Both of the albums was cool for me, but it both wow, both of them, both Drake and also Ye. It's hard to separate the artist away from the art that they do. It's really hard, especially with both of the two doing their antics and all that. Utopia was cool. I fucked with Utopia. You know what I mean? You said Donda was like a 6 out of 10. Nah, Donda definitely had some bangers. It definitely had bangers. But it wasn't until it is like when I was watching Dante's reaction is when I paid attention to certain songs. I'm like, no, it grew on me. It grew on me. It grew on me. But Certified Lover Boy, there was some songs I'm like, okay, nah, I do like this from off like first listen. I was like, okay, I I'll give the light bright nigga that. But you know what I mean?
Also, anything regarding the Kendrick and Drake back and forth. Now,
That
obviously,
too.
I'm not talking to the die-hard music fans that watch this channel. There are tons of albums in the past 5 years that you all stayed up for and were extremely excited about. But I'm talking about when
Jeez,
the hype
Dang, over Vultures too. Oof. Shout outs to you, Kai.
reaches the average music listener, the person who is a music fan, but you know they're not a music fan like
Right,
we're
definitely
music
not
fans, you know
Vultures
what I mean? Like, they're a music fan, but it's not a critical facet of their personality. When they participate in the hype, we have this vast community experience where hip-hop fans come together in unison just to check out an album at midnight, even if their intention is to just shit on it after one listen and tweet mid. But this all-encompassing effort from hip-hop fans is what makes the genre so dominant. I just found out the other day that a rock song hasn't went #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 since 2001. Coming up on
Damn.
25 years, a rock song hasn't hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was Nickelback. Now, I don't think Carti will get a #1 single on the Hot 100 from Music. I mean, Fiend peaked at #5, and nothing on this album comes close to that. But my point is that clearly other genres don't have the hype. They don't quite have the same community, and they don't have the team effort from fans and pop culture that uplifts their genre.
I will say this though. I was literally just saying this earlier that I have to give the veterans, the music reactors, the veterans their flowers on this because you know it made it to a point to where it is that like now even myself I'm reacted to like music and I didn't think it is I was going to. I was kind of just like I don't know. And the biggest thing of course is the copyright issue. This is why it is like I wasn't really trying to go into that at first. However, I will say it is if you're a person that loves music, you know, and music is subjective. Everybody has different levels of opinions of what they like and what they don't like. However, I do like the fact that it is that like, you know, hip hop does bring a lot of us streamers to hit the live button. You know, it brings all of us together in a way to go ahead and just react to certain songs and see the first reaction of certain things. So I think it's cool that the fact that is that we're able to do this. And I love the fact that now that the crossover with music, you know, rappers, artists, celebrities, and streamers now that is like meshing together and we're seeing both being on streams, you know, collabing with each other, whatnot. I think that is great, you know? He said Frank Ocean drops, you know we gotta be here for that. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If he does, yes.
Which is actually upsetting. As a music fan, I wish there were more artists, whether that be in hip-hop or other genres, that could make the average listener excited about their newest release and essentially get everyone online to stay up at midnight just to listen to their new song or their new project. Now, the reason why they don't have the same amount of hype and how they would go about changing that is a deeper conversation for a different day, but I think Carti's impact and influence on hip-hop and pop culture is a net positive. Fans feel more excited and more lively at shows. They are a little toxic. Look, they're a little toxic, but hey, It happens. But he has cultivated a community that has directly allowed tons of upcoming artists to thrive. So while I am saying that Whole Lotta Red is better and more innovative objectively,
I mean, it is.
Personally, I will likely listen to I Am Music more. And while I do technically agree that this album, as well as Carti's presence in hip hop, is all just sort of overhyped, I actually like that. And I agree with it. And I hope that more artists can be overhyped because it's just more fun. Also,
Absolutely.
The recording studio that I am building has made an insane amount of progress. We already have all of the framing done. The insulation is in. And I think by the end of this week, we'll probably have all the walls actually built. My next video is going to be another update video. So please, please, please subscribe and turn on the notifications. They're very important. My upload schedule is a little scuffed right now, and I'm sorry, but the notifications will solve that problem. Love you guys. Drink water.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, that's fire. That's fire, Pat. That's fire. You know, making a studio from scratch is absolutely amazing. Now, like I said before, I'm not the biggest Carti fan, but I do understand the impact it is that he's doing, that he has done. And Mr. Kanye West, you did not put Carti on. I believe the person it is, the rightful person is that did that was Rocky, ASAP Rocky. So, in one of these days, it is we'll get into a whole reaction talking about with Kanye's antics, which I really don't. I don't feel like doing it at this moment of time. But the fact that like he was talking about that of like, oh, I'm the one that is I put you on. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Stop. Come on now. Carti was already kind of put on before it is that he even met you. So that's even worse. You know what I mean? To like calm down. But Pat, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the video. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Shout out to you at home. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.